on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. I hope you are having a fan-friggin-tastic day. I am. It's been a great day, great weekend. I enjoyed my one day off, had some fun. And that said, we had amazing things happen. Now, again, everything's being spun. The world's a funny place right now. A lot of people are going to talk doom and gloom. A lot of people are going to try to spin this how nothing happened. A lot of people, like Europe and Zelensky, are going to try to keep this from actually occurring. They don't like it. They don't like the details. We'll see what happens, how that plays out. This is all part of the plan. Whether it's intentional by white hats, whether this is God, whether it's a nice hearty mixture, don't know. Don't care, really, frankly. I just see it happening. The way it happens is beautiful. It's perfection, I would say. It's a muy magnifico. Hey, I get Italian now all of a sudden with my hands and stuff. Whatever the case is, it's freaking awesome. Pursuing peace. Got a couple really beautiful little moments that I think, I don't know, are symbolic as shit. That's for sure. But outside of that, who knows? You know, people can read into it. Oh, he's Putin puppet. Like, the fact that they're getting back together since 2018, first time, right? Getting the Beatles back together, or Simon and Garfunkel's probably better. I hate to say. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to say who's who, frankly, because it was kind of like one time, work partner. I got compared to Batman and Robin, and I knew I was Robin. And I didn't freaking want to be Robin. And I said that. They were good friends. But they were like, you know, I shouldn't have said it. But they knew me. I'm not Robin. F you. This was huge. So Putin caring about his country, Russia, and Trump even truthed again. A camel case. We've talked about this. It's very interesting. And Trump is worried about the United States, right? And these two countries are actually trying to work on a deal to bring peace. Now, everyone else is like, well, we started this war. We pissed off Russia so damn badly. We overthrew their government and everything else, only to have them invade, finally pissed them off enough. Now we can blame them and have this proxy war we've been dreaming of, and we lost, or at least weren't able to hold up. I don't know, say what you want. I think, if it came down to a full nuclear war between Russia and the United States, nobody wins. I don't know if you guys saw the movie way back in the 80s, but nobody wins. So who cares? Who's got the bigger penis? It's not what's going on. These guys literally are trying to bring an end to the deep state. Make amends. Make business partnerships. What's happening is incredible. Now, again, you'll watch, it'll be spun all over the place. I've started to really appreciate my aspect of this. I really, for a lot of times, I'll listen to people and I'll be like, what, how can you? And then I realize I'm like, nah, but this is what this is about. We got a whole group of people that want to see the war continue. Got two dudes literally trying to make peace. Everybody else is, well, I don't like what you're presenting to us. It's like, well, what have you brought to the table? One of my biggest complaints in any business environment ever, since I've ever worked, is people that are really amazing at finding all the problems, but never, ever, ever have solutions. They can point out a problem like nobody's business. You know what? That's a problem over there. Yeah, what do we do about it? Nah, I don't know. That's a problem, though. Well, you're worthless, thank you. Yeah, it's great. We found a problem. Now we got to get other people together that can think about it and fix it, which is the hard part. Einstein said, the issues we face today, I'm going to paraphrase, the issues we face today can't be solved with the same level of thinking with which we created them. We can't fix today's problems with yesterday's thinking. Pursuing peace is exactly what we need right now. Whoops. Hopefully I'm just not sped up. I think it is. I gotta fix the speed when we get a moment. Vladimir Putin said, quote, I don't know where he posted this, but I'm pretty sure this is true. If he, Trump, I guess, was the president back then, there would be no war. And I'm quite sure it would indeed be so. Now, again, that's a translation from Russian. It's so cool how some of the stuff, it would indeed be so. Like so unnecessary level of extra words, kind of like what we do frequently. I love languages. I just watched one video of a lady that from China, and she's really fluent in English, spoke amazing English, but she was bitching about like the way you name countries, right? Like you name the people from the countries. Like some are like with an en, like an ian or an, or some are just you add a s or something. We're all over the damn place. This was pretty cool though. Here's Putin to Trump, and he's talking about the invitation, the fact that they were in Alaska, making us neighbors, literally by like 2.5 miles if you actually go geographic on the map. We're like 2.5 hours or 2.5 miles away. Sorry. A whole day away, though. Some magical thing happens right there at that line, and it poof, becomes tomorrow. That's kind of cool. But here's Putin, sorry, talking to us.
So when we've met, when I came out of the plane, and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear." So when we've met, when I came out of the plane, and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health, and to see you alive."
It's kind of, I don't know if that's just translation, but that's funny as hell, right? Like, hey, good neighbor, nice to see you alive. Eh? That's so Russian, I guess, right? You're not dead. The polar bear that you went walking after the other day because you saw one. You're like, oh, bear, let's go talk to the bear. Remember that Russian guy that showed up in Alaska and he sees a brown bear and he just goes walking at it? What the shit is wrong with you, man? You know, rational-minded people don't do that. Russians do. Not ones that are worried about bullets. All said. Yeah, here's Trump talking to, was this Bripper? No, this was, I don't know who this was. Bripper, or this was Hannity, one of the two bastages. Check it out.
All right. Do you ever think Hillary Clinton, the author of the bought and paid for Russian disinformation dossier, the author of the Russia hoax, going into today would be saying she would nominate you for a Nobel Peace Prize? I don't think you ever expected that happening.
Well, you know, I don't want to be involved in that, in the sense, not because of her. It's very nice. If she said that, it's very nice. I really appreciate it, too, actually. But
she tried to ruin your life, and in many ways, she ruined 3 years of your life.
Well, she made me stronger and tougher, and, you know, we had...
You are way more forgiving than me. That's...
Well, it was a sad chapter in our country's history. I will say that. Look, you can't run a country that way. You know, Vladimir Putin said something, one of the most interesting things. He said, your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting. He said mail-in voting, every election. He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election. But mail-in voting, Sean, the politicians, I think I'm going to make it a big, I know the answer is that Jimmy Carter, years ago, along with Scoop Jackson and some others, they had a committee. Respected people, good committee, Jimmy Carter, good guy. You know, he's a good man. And the conclusion was you can't have mail-in voting. We have mail-in voting. It's so dishonest. They send stuff. Some people get 7 ballots. Look at California with that horrible governor they have. He's one of the worst governors in history. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. They send out like 38 million ballots. Some people get 5, 6, 7. But Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. And he said there's not a country in the world that uses it now.
Oh, I would love to see election reform.
Well, we have to do it. I don't know why we're not doing it.
Oh, I'd like
you
to
bring it up. The Democrats don't want it. Look, the Republicans want it, but not strongly enough. I mean, they got to want it strong because it can't be honest. It goes through a postman. It goes through somebody else. You know, when you go to a really well-run voting booth, you go in, you have to hand a card, a picture, or this or that. You don't have everything perfect. You get sent back. Go get it. It's very hard to do something fraudulent with a vote.
Paper ballots.
Mail-in voting, they give you boxes of stuff. You have no idea where they came from. This mail-in voting, you can't have a great democracy, republic. You can't have it. Well, maybe that's why we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. I don't know. He probably is very happy with mail-in ballot. But you can't have a great democracy with mail-in voting.
Voter ID, signature verification, chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls, partisan observers watching the voting all day, the vote counting all night. You do paper ballots, you pick a winner, and everyone goes home with confidence in the integrity.
For 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
So if you do paper ballots, it costs you 10% the cost of machines.
Let me ask you this.
And we can trust them. They can literally be counted by physical human beings, watched the way it's supposed to be. Are you literally going to trust the government because they're the ones paying for the elections? Why would we ever trust? We should trust and verify, sure, but no, man, the machines are a joke. No, I would say. Paul Sperry put this out. FBI investigators working the Clinton Foundation corruption case were barred from examining any of the 300,000 plus Hillary Clinton emails discovered on the Wiener laptop. The emails factored into whether Secretary of State Clinton traded influence for foreign cash through the FDN. Now, it is interesting that Trump is backing away. Have you noticed that? He's always spoken of Hillary nicely. We didn't go after her. I chose not to go after her. He's been oddly nice. Now, many that have followed any of the conspiracy rabbit holes that exist around that lady, we've come into the Wilson ball, for example, right? Ellen DeGeneres, the T-shirts made, all the stuff. Just so many fun factors. If you don't know about them, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It is an interesting situation that he has backed himself away. And I think partially because he doesn't want to optically look like he's attached to the attack of a woman. Who knows how they're going to portray it, but stuff's coming out. The FBI's own internal timeline memo, just declassified by FBI Director Kash Patel, proves that multiple FBI field offices were investigating the Clintons for pay-to-play and bribery revelations contained in his book, Peter Schweitzer, right? Clinton Cash, I guess, just to plug his book. And then the Obama DOJ ordered the career agents to shut it down. This isn't just a smoking gun. It's the whole arsenal. I think you're slightly over-exaggerating, sir. I definitely think it's a smoking gun. I don't think it's a whole arsenal by any stretch of the imagination. But good on you, Mr. Schweitzer, for having been a part of that. Hurricane Aaron, we talked about this. It went to a Category 5, but they have dropped it back to a Category 4. It went quick, though. I was like, what? I guess 2 days, though. It's been 2 days. I was talking about it Friday, right? You guys, I'm telling you, pay attention to this one. One thing that is interesting about this one, one, it got huge quick. Two, the eye wall is, look, I'm not an expert. You an expert? No, but I'm going to ask you, does the eye wall look small to you? And again, does size matter? It seems really small for a Cat 5 storm. It is swirling, and they said they had 160-mile-an-hour winds, but it's got a teeny-ass little small pinprick of a hole. It's kind of, I don't know. They downgraded it to a 4, or a 3 now, even, as of this morning, I guess. So, yeah. So it's apparently slowing down a little bit, which I also think is interesting. But, what's going on? A weird moment here. I don't know what was going on, but somebody, and it sounds like this individual was maybe not a regular flight person, an airman, they're calling him. Passenger was reportedly a recruiting officer. So a recruiting officer, not necessarily a Rio, if you will, in a two-man F-15, was going along for a flight thing. I'm guessing there's a check. I've heard stories about there's checks that you do with the ejection. There's some craft that require you to actually do things with it, and probably others that don't. I don't know if I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he thought he was in one of the craft that you needed to engage the thing, and because he engaged the thing. He went for a fly.
As you burn into the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my drag you
Dude, stop. Trying not to piss off, the YouTubers, but, there you go. Yeah. So, one, just evidence how well an ejection system works. That's on the ground, right? And that's because sometimes planes catch fire and you're like, out of here. So, interesting that happened. In Trump's first 200 days, Trump has overturned Biden climate agenda at breakneck speed, just to kind of remind. I mean, he's all over the place on this, hitting it from a number of different angles. California's bummed about it, and for good reason, of course. There's actually a thing with the truck drivers. I think I've got the story, maybe. But there's a lot going on. So we'll see. We'll see how things play. A lot of money is not changing hands the way it used to. And this is a big deal. And it doesn't take long for a lot of these organizations to completely, that flat tire to wear itself out and just blow out, right? Completely, or, not blow off, I guess. Disgraced ex-rep, I should say, Anthony Weiner. He made a blunt prediction about Zoran Mondani, basically just pointing out the fact that the leadership of the Democrat Party has a huge problem, really, in my opinion, and this is me saying it, not them saying it, but they have to support Mondani. He is the guy for New York. New York is the big place. California is the big place. Both those people, whatever, has to be supported by the Democratic Party, right? They got to be part of the group or else. And that is, well, it's interesting because this dude is so crazy communist that when Chuck Schumer and whatever the other schmuckface name is, Hakeem Jeffries, when they got to step out of the shadows and be like, yes, this is the guy we support, right? Like they do. And then all of a sudden, everybody else, even Democrats, are like, are you kidding? This dude's like straight out of Mao, or straight out of the Red Book, or straight out of Stalin. What's the guy before him? Lenin? Was he worse? Yeah, he was the worst one, right? They were both pretty bad, to my understanding, but whatever. All you history people. Hopefully I redeemed myself. We'll find out. California mail-in ballot vulnerability exposed. I guess I'm going to play this. Check it out.
The Democrats in our legislature in Sacramento kicked me off my elections committee for fighting for you, the voters, and speaking up on voter ID.
I'm on the website for the state of California to register to vote. On the section where you put in your driver's license, your last four of your social, there's a box underneath each one that says, I don't have one. I don't have one. And then you're allowed to proceed to go to vote.
What is the agenda here? Why do we let people register to vote and we don't verify their immigration status? We need to instill confidence in our elections. We need the public to know and trust that when we vote, it's secured and your vote counts equally.
This idea that you're not allowed to register to vote unless you present some sort of identification is not accurate. It's not true. It's not being implemented in the state of California.
But guess what? We're going to go around them. That's why today we're announcing our voter ID ballot initiative. We're going to go around the legislature, get signatures directly from the voters, and we're going to put it on the ballot in 2026. California is going to have voter ID one way or another, with or without the Democrats here in Sacramento.
Personally, this is why I don't worry about them gerrymandering California, because I honestly think we're going to get fair elections here, and they're not going to be able to cheat the way they're used to, and it's going to mess things up extensively. Especially considering how many different seats in the House will change hands, most likely. So again, big thing that's going on. We are waking up in this state too, which is not a bad thing. So we'll see where we get. Again, we want to keep pushing attention towards it. We are seeing a lot of things that are supposed to be thrown onto the elections next cycle here. Gavin Newsom talking about the gerrymandering, speaking of which, or redistricting as he's calling it. It's actually a constitutional change, which is even a bigger deal because they can't gerrymander further in this state. They've already gerrymandered the crap out of us. So they're like, how about we just make it so you never, ever, ever can choose your own maps? So that's what they're trying to put on the bill. It's cool. Cooper is, I guess, the guy in the Senate race in the Carolina. Which Carolina? Is it the North Carolina or is it that southern one? There's two of them. Last I checked, it's the North. There they go. Michael Watley, he's 47.3%, 239%. I'm just bringing attention to this. I don't know. Maybe we need to get more people out there making noise, or maybe we need to make sure people go out there and vote for not Cooper. So we want Michael Watley, I guess. I don't know. Do you want to definitely do another Democrat? Probably not, right? So Michael Watley, North Carolina, y'all need to get your butts out there and vote. Michael Watley. You don't have to get in polls. I don't care if the polls say, okay? Just make sure you get out and vote. Vote this dude in. It's going to be important for the next few years, especially as we solidify our elections. It's going to be extraordinarily important. The Super PAC is crushing Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey used to have a district in Kentucky that he pretty much had within impunity. And so he could be a total douchehole. Problem is, that's no longer the case. And this Super PAC's kicking his ass. And we're going to keep kicking his ass. We're going to kick your ass all the way to the curb, Mr. Massey. All the way to the curb. I don't know if you know that or not, but we are going to do it. MyPillow.com/OTF. That's MyPillow.com/OTF. Well, Mike Lindell, thank you, too. Free gift? I'll give you a gift, buddy. Give me a call. I'll give you a gift. Right now, though, just only because I'm busy. Only because I'm busy. It's pillow talk. That's what that is. They got free shipping going on, guys. I don't know how long they're going to let us keep this, but they gave this to us when I had Mike on my show last week. This week, we're going to have him on again. I don't know. Maybe we'll get to keep the free shipping, but it's a pretty sweet deal because that means all the cool deals you got going on, you can just buy some pillows. You need $20 pillows. It's shipping for free, right? That's all you need. Now, I do recommend these slippers, $39.99. They're going out of style. Whatever shapes, colors, and sizes they got, that's what they got. Again, my favorite pillow ever. They call this the knife's edge, I believe, and then this is the box edge. Whatever the case is, they're about the same price. This is employee pricing, by the way, on the box edge, so it's apparently a little more expensive. Maybe this is the guy. I don't know. This is what I've been using all my years. I love it. Either way you go, this is the best pillow ever. It's got that same feel. It's incredible. Dog pillows, if you actually love your pet, just saying. I mean, if you don't worry about it. Like, you wouldn't get them a My Pillow dog bed. I mean, if you love them, of course you would. I mean, that's ridiculous. $39.98. You're not going to get them a pillow to friggin' hang out on while they're there. I mean, I don't know. That's strange to me. That's all that is. That's all that is. Kitchen towels. Really nice kitchen towels, by the way. They're good size, big. Like they're, I don't know. Hard to say. They're big. They're plenty big for a kitchen towel. I don't think I've ever seen one bigger, maybe smaller. But hey, we've talked about this. $9.99 though. Sweet deal. That you get 3 of them. They got different colors, different, you don't have to just get like these boring, like shop looking ones. This is kind of like a guy towel. It's like, just want to make sure it's a kitchen towel and you don't think it's some sort of special hand towel, right? Try to use it inappropriately. Then you got decorative ones and crap, like the wife got involved or a lady's ordering them. You want patterns. You want something that's more than just a stripe, right? Hello. I'm just saying. I don't understand it. I've watched it happen. That's all I'm saying. We've got the incredible towel. I love their towels. They've got the beach towels too. Their towels are just their towel. I call it towel technology. That's what I call it. It's so good. It is like it just absorbs. It's like, Bounty quicker picker uppers. I've got paper towels that, by the way, and I've moved them across stuff and it's sort of left a smear. I had to go back a second time, squish it around a little bit. So I got a drier part of it. These don't do that. Bounty fails, really, to its own challenge, but not Mike Lindell's pillow, no, or Mike Lindell's towels. These freaking towels are incredible. Again, they start, I don't know, probably $29, $30, somewhere around there. I don't know, incredible. Incredible towels. Check them out. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Take advantage of the free shipping. Try their Rev 7, too, by the way. Super good. Rev 7's super good. Awesome energy. No calories. 10 milligrams of sodium, so there's like nothing in it. It's awesome if you're someone that likes to work out and get an energy drink kind of going beforehand. This won't mess up your ketosis. Free 3-pack. You can try all 3 of them. They're incredibly flavorful, by the way. Almost annoyingly so. Almost. They are incredibly good. My personal favorite, I love the blue one. The blueberry citrus is freaking awesome. Lemonade's rad. The green one's like a friggin' green Jolly Rancher. My least favorite Jolly Rancher. I'd eat one. If you gave it to me and you're like, I just got a green one, I'm like, I'll take your green apple. Give it to me. They're good. Tastes just like it. Green apple. Delicious. Delicious. Again, they've got outlet sales. They've got all sorts. The coffee's actually surprisingly good too. It's surprisingly good, and you're getting 50% off, and they're shipping it for free. They got K-Cups. They got it ground. They got, I don't know if they got whole bean too. I don't know what's going on, but it is really good. I've actually tried it before. Fantastic. For the dollars. This is, yeah, Mike's not rocking you on this one. 50% off, free shipping. Trust me. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Buy something and then try the coffee. See what you think. It's freaking good, especially for the price. mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. Ever in the world. Another top Democrat mayor has been indicted for corruption. This time, though, it's actually the sitting mayor. A federal grand jury has indicted Democrat New Orleans mayor LaToya Cantrell, marking a historic first for the city, as no sitting mayor has ever faced criminal prosecution before, despite a number of city officials facing prosecution after leaving office. Apparently, it's a much better thing to be busted for things you did in office once you've managed to get out of office. But while you're still in office and you just got caught, because we know what to look for now. Hello. Yeah, she got 12 of 16 jurors. We're backing this. I don't know how this works in grand juries. Apparently it doesn't have to be everybody. Court finds the harm. Well, what's this one? This one's a good story. Judge, expanding the restraining order against Beto O'Rourke and Act Blue. They're adding Act Blue into it because they're doing some of the fundraising, and Beto's been pushing for it, and they've probably noticed a spike. One of the things that came out from the judge, Judge Megan Fahy, issued an expanded TRO through September 5th, and it's scheduled a hearing for temporary injunction on September 2nd. Quote, the court finds that harm is imminent to states, and if the court does not issue this order, the state will be irreparably injured. Specifically, defendants' fundraising conduct constitutes false, misleading, and deceptive acts under the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Because defendants are raising and utilizing political contributions from Texas consumers to pay for the personal expenses of Texas legislatures in violation of Texas law, because this conduct is unlawful and harms Texas consumers, restraining this conduct is in the public interest. Right? Like that's starting to come to a head. So we'll see where that gets us to. Another victory in Fulton County for election mischievousness, making a big step. This was Fulton County Republican Party as the plaintiff versus Fulton County Board of Commissioners. They've been trying to get information. The plaintiff seeks to hold the defendant Board of Commissioners in contempt for its failure to appoint the plaintiff executive director in the County Board of Elections. The defendants contend that they have not had time to hold a public meeting at which they could address this issue. The court notes that the defendants have filed a motion for reconsideration of the court's first rulings, as well as a notice of appeal from that ruling. This case revolves around the interpretations of the word shall. The court is satisfied that it has correctly applied the appointment statute in this mandamus case. The court knows the rule and this type of case that the court can only compel the public body to act while it cannot dictate the decision that must be made. That said, this is a situation in which the only authority of the county commission is to appoint the nominees submitted by the executive officer of the political party. The defendant board has been ordered to comply with this appointment. As the court has already found, the refusal to appoint the county's executive nominee does harm to the plaintiff by the denial of representation by the people chosen by the Board of Elections. The court has already found that a clear legal rights to relief exists as required for issuance of a writ of mandamus when a claimant seeks to compel and performance of the public duty that an official or agency is required by law to perform. And the duty must be clear and well defined. Love versus Fulton County Board of Tax Assessors, yada yada. In this case, the court has found that the plaintiff has that clear legal right to have its nominees appointed to the county election board. The court views the efforts of the defendants at this point as an effort to delay those appointments in bad faith. Injunction pending appeal. When an appeal is taken from an interlocutory or final judgment granting, dissolving, or denying an injunction, the court in its discretion, may suspend, modify, restore, or grant an injunction during the pendency. Hurts me, the way these people talk. Court declines any stay. The court directs the defendant to comply with its order the next regularly scheduled meeting. There's a lot to read, but it's a pretty big deal. I don't know if this was necessary, frankly, but Ed Martin, he's inspecting Letitia James, Tits, her mortgage fraud, checking out the property in Brooklyn after being appointed Department of Justice Special Attorney. He actually showed up. He's like, yeah, there's 5 units. She said there's 3 to 4. 3 to 4 is a totally different game altogether. So this is probably going to be a, easy case. Gerrymandering, race pandering, and political meandering. Oh, so cute, the title. But the gerrymandering in Texas is going on. Just as a reminder, it happens everywhere. It's happening all over the place. They're making a big deal about the one in Texas because essentially Republicans are doing the same thing that Democrats always do, except Republicans have never done it before. They generally don't. I mean, they have, I think, kind of, sort of before, but they generally don't. And so the Dems are like, you can't do what we do all the time? What? No, la, 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 la. So, yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now. I mean, again, there's not a Democrat state where they haven't done some form of gerrymandering. We got Maryland, Illinois, really bad. What are these ones down here? We do have some, there's some redistricting, too, that might actually go on in some other, Republican places. Again, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Whatever. Everybody's going to kind of reap their own on this one. You sleep in the bed you lay. So I think all these individuals that are tied into this redistricting, if it's okay in the state and your people are cool, that booyah, good on you. You did the right thing. Nationally, who gives a crap? People in California shouldn't really give a crap what people in friggin' Illinois do. It's not our business. Now, doucheholes in California, like this guy. California Democrats unveil proposed congressional map to counter Texas redistricting. Dun. It's going to give Democrats 5 additional seats in the U.S. House of Representatives in 2026. Now, this is based off their own stupid numbers. I wonder how that's actually going to work, because Trump is doing a new census, by the way, and that's been talked about, how citizenship is going to be a factor in that census, which will bode poorly for Gavin Newsom, because he's had an actual exodus happening in this state of actual citizens, and maybe an entrance of many that aren't necessarily, maybe are paying taxes. I'll give points in some cases where they are, and then many places aren't. And, all right, how do you run a state with that when you cause everybody else to leave, right? So we'll see how it plays out. They've literally got to get people to vote for it. From what the normal people have been saying is it's not popular. If we get control of our elections, it's not going to probably pass. So he can talk a lot of talk. We'll see what happens. Playboy's actually leaving Los Angeles. Seriously, Hugh Hefner. He had a place in Los Angeles forever. He's dead, but his place is even going. They're leaving. They're going to Miami Beach, baby, which, I guess from California's standpoint, is pretty similar, just way more humid. But everything looks similar, at least from that standpoint, minus the fact that it's way humid. A Democrat New York City councilman says quality of life has tanked here. He was on the Brian Kilmeade show, basically saying, yeah, this is bad. He says, when I hear people who are lifetime New Yorkers saying, if New York City mayoral candidate Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani wins, I'm out of here, that's like they were looking for an excuse. Some people, because the quality of life has dropped since the pandemic. Everything's changed since the pandemic. Everything has changed since the pandemic. The pandemic was a very trippy thing. COVID was a very trippy thing, the way it affected people, the way it changed customer service, the way it changed so many things. California sucks at laws, and there are a couple of them getting overturned. And this is a good one, too, that they're turning over. A couple good ones lately. One from the ammunition thing. You used to have to do a background check to get ammo. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. They don't anymore. That's illegal. Ninth Circuit finally overturned this stupid rule, too. 1 gun per month, literally. Yeah, no, you had to wait 30 days. I bought 2 firearms in a reasonably close period of time, and I had to wait 30 days to be able to even take custody of the second one, even though I paid for it. Like, that didn't matter. It sat there for an extended period of time until I was able to come and get it legally. That's been overturned officially, hardcore overturned. In fact, it's no longer enforceable. It is done, which is fantastic. The law is the law. Yeah, the circuit court it issued a mandate, one gun per gun month ban law, making it a, let's see, the first. That's not the one I wanted to read. I thought anyway. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the district court held that the law violates the Second Amendment. They affirm California law is facially unconstitutional because possession of multiple firearms and the ability to acquire firearms through purchases without meaningful constraints are protected by the Second Amendment, and California's law is not supported by our nation's traditions of firearm regulations. Da, da, da. Sorry, you suck. Also, another one, new players. Well, so they're trying to play a weird game on this truck mandate that California was pushing, that every truck had to have these zero emissions or whatever by 2035. Well, they can't do that legally. That's already in the lawsuit's already happening. There's already, it's probably already facing court where states can't mandate for the nation how things are. They can't mandate things for Department of Transportation because it creates a separate set of rules. They can't do it. Not allowed. That said, the way they're trying to spin it now is that these companies that are literally talking about pulling out, like Peterbilt or Kenworth or whatever, like Volvo or whatever, these different, different truck manufacturers. I'm sure I got some of their names wrong, but whatever. The ones that you see on the road. These guys are like pulling out of the country, the company, the state. It's like all similar. Pulling out of the state. They don't want to be part of it. They're like, no, not gonna. You guys are tax the crap out of us. You guys got crazy laws, crazy rules. No, we're not gonna be a part of it. And then now California's like, what? So you're just saying that you're gonna give all the battery trucks a chance to a leg up? You're gonna give them an advantage, huh? Like they're playing some sort of stupid reverse psychology. And it's like, no, in fact, there's no battery powered trucks that are worth the crap that can do what you need them to do. So yeah, I'll call your bluff. California's stupid. Pretty much. The U.S. Secret Service is going to conduct routine threat exercises at the White House while Trump is in Alaska. I think it already happened, but I guess some people were saying they were hearing possible gunfire. I wonder if that was simulated gunfire or actual gunfire. I always wonder, but they would make sense to have, simulated practice stuff because we are about to do some crazy things in this country where people might very well try to rush the White House. They talked about doing it before. We'll see how things, hopefully we can keep things on the down low. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, advocates urge Trump to block immunity from pesticide and chemical manufacturers, trying to see if we can get them to get involved in that. Hopefully they do. I don't think these people should have the immunity. I don't think vaccine people should have the immunity. I don't think any of these people should have the immunity. In fact, we're finding in some cases, they're responsible for creating some of the problems we have that we're now trying to create vaccinations and chemicals for. I've created these ultra deadly parasites and pests. It's not good. Secretary Kennedy put out a very powerful statement in my mind. He said the swamp is in full panic mode. D.C. lobby shops are laboring fiercely to drive a wedge between President Trump and me, hoping to thwart our team from dismantling the status quo and advancing at POTUS's Make America Healthy Again agenda. They're pushing the flat-out lie that I'm running for president in 2028. Let me be clear, I am not running for president in 2028. My loyalty is to President Trump and the mission we've started. Their attacks on my staff, especially Stephanie Spear, a fierce, loyal warrior for MAHA, who proudly serves in the Trump administration and works every day to advance President Trump's vision for a healthier, stronger America, are proof we are over the target. We'll keep moving forward, we'll keep delivering wins, and no smear campaign will stop us. President Trump is delivering on every promise beyond my wildest dreams. Ending war, protecting free speech, rebuilding American industry and the American middle class, delivering transparency and gold standard science, and breaking the grip of entrenched interests. The president has made himself the answer to my 20-year prayer that God would put me in a position to end the chronic disease epidemic. And that's exactly what my team and I will do until the day he leaves office. Yeah, there's crazy stuff going on, guys. China investors flood Indonesia to avoid hefty tariffs, so they're going to try to manufacture in Indonesia to get the Indonesian tariffs. Meh. If we have a huge problem with it, then we'll probably change the tariffs of Indonesia, but Indonesia's probably going to make a bunch of money doing this, so we'll see how this plays out. Something to keep tabs on. Average Americans expected to receive about $3,700 in tax cuts in 2026 due to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We'll see if it works out that way. Hopefully it does. As far as futures, so too early to tell in the day. It's just a little afternoon. I don't know, it's almost 1. It's a better way to put it. All said, it's still early. These numbers will change right before they open. It's the fun time to watch is right before. They get crazy, or around 4 a.m. even for that matter. But yeah, a lot of things going on. Silver is up 38. That's nice. Gold's down a little bit, 33.81. Still above that fun magic mark. Interesting to see how things continue to play out. U.S.'s Southcom has deployed 4,000 troops to Latin American waters as counter-narco terror operations loom. We are definitely going after these drug dealers. We're going after these ships that are like low, I don't know if you've seen them. Their decks are just barely above water, and they are hard to see. And apparently we're getting good at finding them and getting them, and they just are smuggling all sorts of drugs. And that's kind of funny. It always makes me laugh at my friends. My friends that enjoy those drugs. And, sorry for you guys out there that are part of that group. This is not helping the prices, I assume. But it is trying to shut down some of the fentanyl and crap like that that's coming into this country. That's the important part. All said. Yeah. Canadian government intervened in Air Canada's flight attendant strike. They grounded 700 flights, apparently. The flight attendants decided to go on strike for the first time since 1985. Whatever the case was, government got involved, basically said, yeah, go back to work. I don't know if they got what they wanted or what the contract settled, but yeah. They're back to work. They shut everybody down. All right, so we got, that's coming up here in a second, but Trump and Xi, it's going to be good. Or Trump and the Putin thing. So much good stuff there. Trump says Xi assured him China would not invade Taiwan during his presidency. He actually said this. He also said, I'm very patient, and China is very patient, which basically means once you're gone, we're going to totally take it. But he says, I will never do it as long as you are president. President Xi told me that and said, well, I appreciate that. That's what he said. That's what Trump said to Xi. Or whatever. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen during Trump's presidency, and that might get put off till later. We'll also wait and see. Hellfire missile launcher hidden in a civilian box truck kind of thing. These are the Longbow AGM-114s. These are a little bit longer range. I guess it's more of a ground. I don't know why the Longbow was a specific Apache helicopter that had the dome on the top. It's a cool video game, too. Anywho, whatever the case is, these Hellfires are pretty capable missiles. They've got a reasonable range from this standpoint, and they're very accurate. So, yeah, this little box truck can pop out a little thing on the top, or one of these little shipping containers can pop a thing out of the top and, open up the side and, shoot stuff off. Probably sounds exactly like that. So, there you go. These things are all over the place. And it is what was used against Russia, and it's very common. This has been around for, I think, a while, frankly. We're just finally catching on to it as peoples. Healthy Home, good stuff. Again, just love them. I love what they do. I love how they help us stay healthy and be healthy. They help in the most important ways, I think, too. First off, go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Stem cells, right? So stem cells, everybody talks about them. They come from fetuses, baby fetuses. Your body makes them naturally. So yeah, if you inject them for like a surgery or something, and they're going to give you stem cells in an injection, typically, those do come from fetuses, typically. These come from your own body. This helps your body create more stem cells. It's awesome. It gives you the thing that helps you fight aging. You see, they always talk about antioxidants, right? Get rid of the oxidants if we can, because the oxidant, is the thing that ages us, part of the aging process. Stem cells actually help us replace those jacked cells, so they help your skin and stuff like that look and feel better. because you've actually got more stem cells running around. Stem cells are just cells that can become any other cell. You got an issue with muscle, you tore a muscle while you're at the gym, stem cells can become muscle cell. You got a problem, your lung, you finally stop smoking, and your lung's trying to repair itself a little bit, stem cells totally help that. They become lung cells. Again, the lungs actually, if you do quit smoking, by the way, or anybody, they heal quickly. It's surprising quickly, how quickly. It's a trip. It's actually surprisingly cool. Also, stem cells help amazingly with all those processes. They got a gel, it's a liquid, it gets in your system very quickly. They got the pills, they also get into your system pretty freaking fast. Whatever the case is, this helps build 25 to 40% more stem cells in your body within many minutes of ingesting. And it's, it's less than an hour. It's very quickly. And now all of a sudden you've got more ability to heal yourself. Balance is one for the ladies going through that change. There's no hormones, no synthetic hormones in here. But you're having a hard time sleeping. You're having a hard time with the temperature changing and moods changing. There's anybody like, why don't you understand what's going on? Like just, right? Like craziness. This is something that people are actually literally finding balance in their life. It's bringing balance back. It's a transdermal lotion. So you put a little bit on your wrist, you rub your other wrist against that, and then you've got it now. And it's up to you how much you use, when you use it. But ladies are talking all sorts of great things. They're feeling better. They're sleeping better. Their relationships are improving. Just a lot of things are happening. That's just a plus. So balance is doing exactly what it promises. It's bringing balance. Amaze is incredible. Collagen peptide, best way to get any products really is through peptides. Peptides are awesome. I think it's through the way they're attached and how the body absorbs them easier. It's also a liquid, so it happens very quickly. But this is collagen. So you got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, all that stuff. This makes a huge difference. Girlfriend came back from Philippines. She looked like, seriously, like she was 5, 6, 7 years younger. Like it was a trip. It's like she looked, and then the thing above her eye is gone. That's a trip. So she's doubling up, though. She's going hardcore, but she's noticing huge difference, and she's loving it. She's amazed. And she loves this product. I swear to God, she starts twitching when she talks about it. I think she's addicted. I think. We'll see. I'm going to keep letting her go a little while. I don't know. She's not doing anything crazy yet, bringing crazy people over to pay for stuff yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Amaze is a very powerful product and a great way to get your body those protective proteins. It's the most important protein in the body. You're getting a bunch of that in there, and it's a great way. Prime is an excellent source of energy. It causes your vessels to expand and open up, causes more blood to flow through, more oxygen, thusly to traverse through your body. So nitric oxide booster, designed for more than just heart health. It's just really good all across the board, and you'll feel the energy quickly, like within minutes. It's surprising how quickly it kicks in. It's kind of hard to tell when it does, but you'll notice it at some point. You're like, oh yeah, it's definitely more energy. You just have more energy. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's freaking awesome though. Again, stem active, stem cells for pets. It's about half the price of what humans pay. You little guys need the help too in healing. Same thing happens biologically with them. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's, once again, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Great products. Keep you thinking healthy. Keep you thinking how to stay alive longer. And keep your pets with you as well. So, okay, let's talk Russia. Let's talk Zelensky. Let's talk Ukraine. Then let's talk all these places where they don't react well to bullets. UK says it will put boots on the ground if a Ukraine ceasefire is agreed. So now they're talking about a security force that would be allowed on the ground to help in case anything happens and you might possibly kill one of us, in which case that would be bad. So that would be a huge deterrent for Russia to attack. So everybody in the world would be like, all right, that sounds good. So England's cool with that. We're okay with that. Russia's surprisingly okay with that. We'll get to that point, I think, at some point. Trump secures a major prison release on the way out there. Stopped by Belarus. We talked about that. This is what they talked about. Apparently, they got 16 prisoners swapped and 1,300 more to go. So very cool stuff that Donald Trump is doing there as well. Now, Trump, while Putin was on the ground, flew over the F-35s as well as the stealth bomber. Now, obviously, I'll guarantee that Russia had planes flying nearby. I mean, they weren't just letting their president just be there, and especially as close as it was to Russia as well. They're totally going to be there. So this was, I don't know, I've heard it explained a few different ways, but yeah, it was probably a trip for Putin to see that up close like that. Like, you know, that's not something that generally they would ever see up close flying over them. Sure, pictures of it, yeah. What it might look like if one flew over you in a picture, yeah. Never yourself, never actually hearing it and seeing it and being like, damn. This was a show of force, show of power, show of sophistication. I don't know. And again, Putin's not easily scared by it, but this was a total, you know, showing the size of his schlong kind of thing that Trump did, which I'm cool with, frankly. I think it's neat. This is also kind of funny in the United States. Dude vacuuming the stage before Trump and them come up with their red carpet thing. He literally, that's awesome. I mean, I guess, of course you vacuum it, I guess, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know about you guys. How many of you have thought about the care one would have for a stage care? But yeah, please hang on. Let me pull out the special adapter here. Oh, let me throw it. Go on without me. This is funny as hell. Dude can't operate this Bissell. I think that's a Bissell. That's a pretty good vacuum, by the way. Not bad. Not bad. I would definitely give my appreciation of that vacuum. Had one for a while. Storm has arrived. Put this out. This is badass. Yeah, Trump coming. This again. This actually put tears in my eyes. I don't see if I'm curious if it does it again. But Trump and Putin meeting. I don't know. I'm just curious what you guys think. Check it out. I mean, again, they asked some stupid-ass questions, but one, I love how he literally walks him in front of, our F-22s, of all things, our Alaska-based F-22s. Those are very sophisticated fighters. In fact, arguably the best fighters in the world. Russia makes a mean jet, that's for sure. They did look overhead, and that's that noise you heard when the flying was occurring. And yes, it was in fact a sighting of the alleged Ukrainian, was it the Ghost Patriot or whatever, the Ghost whatever, right? Yeah, he's flying over. There it is, right there. Feel bad actually, because I know some Ukrainian people. They're actually very technologically savvy people. They're extremely smart. So this is demeaning to the country. But we intend, for any Ukrainians that are currently watching, we're only intending to demean the leader of your country. Not your country itself. Not you guys. You guys are cool. You guys are great. Trump put this out. A great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, as did a late-night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes does not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to D.C., the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially, millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So who's standing in the way of the great, grand compromise of Ukraine? Well, Europe. Europe doesn't really want to do this. Zelensky doesn't want this to stop because he loses power. The second this war ends, he's done. Not the second, but very quickly after. He's done. The new election, he's out. People hate him. Killed off a whole bunch of people, lost land, basically. And that's a big part of the problem right now, is conceding that little bit of land loss is going to be a very difficult pill to swallow for everybody that 100% believe that this whole thing was Russia's fault. And it wasn't. It was Biden's fault. It was a continuation. It was Bush's fault. It was Clinton's fault. It was Obama's fault. It was actually everyone's fault on both sides of the table other than Trump. He's the only one that never actually encroached NATO towards Russia during his term. Everyone else did. There was a treaty that we signed. Then we overthrew their government. Then we continued to frick with them with the NATO stuff. And eventually, and then they started shelling their own people in the Donbass and Crimea, or the eastern region, Donetsk area, and all that stuff. Right? Started shelling all them, their own people, because they were supporting Russia. Russia had special elections there. Essentially, the people said, we want to be a part of Russia. And Russia's like, and they invaded. It was 100% not Russia's fault. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't care. 100% not Russia's fault. Again, all sorts of people died. This should never have happened. Never have happened. And here we are, after this war has more or less been forced in the effort to have a proxy war with Russia that didn't go the way we foresaw, and Russia's literally been able to take over ground, especially of the individuals that they're trying to protect. And everybody else is like, no, we're not giving it to you. We're not going to let you have it. So we'll see how it plays out. Trump talking about how he thought it was a productive meeting.
I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think, you know, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today.
And what's important is Trump's actually going to get a rare earth deal with Ukraine and Russia. That's what he's ultimately going to do. Create a partnership that's actually going to last. Create a peace that's going to last because there's a beneficial economic exchange that's occurring between both companies. We give up on sanctions. So Russia's conceded some stuff. Actually, more than I thought they would, to be honest with you. I mean, they're pretty much where I thought they would be, but they've had to give up a little bit of land, as has been talked about. So talks with Trump were constructive. This is what Putin said. He's going to say it subtitles. You're going to maybe want to watch this, but check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America and the President of the Russian Federation.
Дамы и господа, президент Соединенных Штатов Америки и президент Российской Федерации.
Уважаемый господин президент,
President Trump, ladies and gentlemen, our talks were constructive. We had mutual respect. These were very useful and substantial talks.
And his wiener is that big. No, I don't think he said that. I'm pretty sure he didn't say it. That would have been weird, right? That would have been strange. Nobody says those things. Putin agreed to let U.S. Europe offer NATO-style security protections for Ukraine. So this is kind of a big deal, too. He's like literally going to, no, you guys can have your peeps there. We're cool with that. We're cool with them having a small armed forces, but nothing big. They want the NATO thing withdrawn. They want that pulled back. And I think getting NATO to make a declaration that it is, in fact, not going to be accepting Ukraine's, into NATO. And I think we're going to get a long way to getting this to happen. So they're talking about what's called an Article 5-like protection, where we literally would have some boots on the ground. And that would make sense for places that we have financial interests, some of these mines and whatnot. We might have troops down there just to make sure nothing weird happens, because we have a habit of making sure nothing weird happens when it's our stuff and we care, right? Otherwise, we don't give a crap. So we'll see how it plays out again. A lot of talk, a lot of hopes. Obviously, Zelensky's not going to like this because his days are over. And Europe doesn't like this, because they basically are the representation of the deep state. And they don't want this chance for World War III to stop. Israel's fizzling. They're like, we're running out of stuff. And apparently China's not going to invade Taiwan yet. White House responds to a report of Alaska summit papers left in public printer. This is a story that's floating around. Talked about the menu. Apparently had some staffers' phone numbers that were on there, which, again, it's not that big a deal. And then had the people that were supposedly showing up, like a list. And they found it in some public printer that someone printed it at, it seems. So whatever the case is. They're actually saying it's ridiculous. They laughed. Haha, hilarious, they say. Hilarity, in fact. But whatever. It's NPR reporting it. NPR. Just saying. Marco Rubio talking about where things are at and the way things are each side's gonna give a little. The Russians are gonna give back some land in return for some land. Zelensky's gonna have to give some land in order to return some land. Well, he's gonna give up a bunch of land, frankly, but that was for making a bad choice. But here's Maria Bartiromo and Mr. Rubio chatting about this stuff.
That President Trump supports Putin's proposal for Russia to take full control of Luhansk and Donetsk, all of Donbass. Do you support this move?
No, first of all, I don't know who told you that, but they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, the president has said that in terms of territories and stuff, these are things that Zelensky's going to have to decide on. These are things that the Ukrainian side is going to have to agree to. That's all the president is trying to do here is narrow down the open issues, narrow them down, and then see if we can play some role in bringing that closer together so we can stop and end this war once and for all. Look, this war is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. You've seen that in the escalation and the attacks. Russia's economy is now 100% full-time war footing. They are producing munitions. The Ukrainians are as well. Both sides are hitting each other very, very hard. And the war is only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So he's trying to do everything he can to bring it to an end. But people that are out there talking what they don't know with all these stupid leaks and things of that nature, they all want to just sound important. They don't know what they're...
Well, let me tell you what I know, because I know some stuff. I'm just kidding, of course. No, he's 100% right. Marco Rubio is 100% right. Here is Witkoff claiming Russia made concessions on several regions. Again, this is huge in my opinion. I feel like I need to sell this because I don't hate Russia and I'm not going to. I've got Russian friends. Again, I'm never gonna hate a group of people ever. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. It's just not my makeup. And everybody's God's creatures, man. I wish more people really believed that. Like it's easy to talk a lot of talk. So many people talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk, man. You got to walk the walk too. That's the hard part. Yeah, be the person that you claim to be. That's the hard part. Anyways, that's me being a douche. Witkoff claims Russia made concessions on several regions.
They made some other concessions on several of the regions. I'm not going to discuss it now. The Ukrainians are aware of it, as are the Europeans, and it was significant, and that doesn't mean it's enough. But the point was that we began to see some moderation in the way they're thinking about getting to a final peace deal. And so we feel that that's encouraging. Now, we briefed the Europeans immediately after we were done with the summit. We briefed President Zelensky directly. He deserved that, and the president got right on the phone with him. And then we had the Europeans on the phone, and I think everybody agreed that we had made progress. Maybe not enough for a peace deal, but we're on the path for the first time. We are seeing accommodation more than we've seen in the past, certainly more than we saw in the last administration. And that's encouraging. Now we have to build on that. And we have to get a deal for the Ukrainians that allows for their self-determination, allows a protection of their sovereign borders. We have to make sure that we achieve that, and the president is intent on getting to that place.
This is like for the first time someone's actually finally trying to do something to bring peace. Everyone else has been like, God, war's got to go on. And especially as Trump's been trying to push peace, Democrats are in this precarious position of, wow, we want more death, sort of. Right? I mean, they're dying right now. They're dying in their attempts. This is announcing that to get to a peace deal with Russia, that U.S. and European countries, I was mixing those together, instead of giving Ukraine NATO membership, they can offer them Article 5-like protection, not just because it's worth mentioning it again.
In terms of Ukrainian security guarantees, you mentioned the Article 5 guarantee of NATO an attack on one and it's an attack on all. Russia would allow that to happen, that any further incursions into Ukraine, Russia would understand would be seen as an attack on all NATO members?
No, Jake, that's not what I said. What I said is that we got to an agreement that the United States and other European nations could effectively offer Article 5-like language to cover a security guarantee. So Putin has said that a red flag is NATO admission.
Right.
And so what we were discussing was assuming that that held, assuming that the Ukrainians could agree to that and could live with that, and everything is going to be about what the Ukrainians can live with. But assuming they could, we were able to win the following concession: that the United States could offer Article 5-like protection, which is one of the real reasons why Ukraine wants to be in NATO. We sort of were able to bypass that and get an agreement that the United States could offer Article 5 protection, which was the first time we had ever heard the Russians agree to that.
One of the biggest differences I've ever seen between Democrats and Republicans is Democrats frequently look at things as, I'm going to tell you what you can do. I'm going to dictate to you the behavior that's allowed. That's how you solve these problems. Trump needs to tell Putin what he's supposed to do. Republicans are more of a, we're all free sovereign beings. So from our standpoint, the idea of telling somebody what they can and should do is oftentimes, well, met with reciprocity, right? Not generally received well. And that's what I think the news here is having a hard time with. They're like, well, why can't he just say what he's supposed to do? And it's like, because he's got a giant country that's super nuclear capable, that's got really impressive weapons also. And they got a say, man. They got a say in the matter. Y'all, why do you think Ukraine, this tiny-ass little country, got a larger say than everybody else at the table? They don't. This was a manufactured war by the deep state. It's not, nobody cares about it anymore. Nobody supports it anymore. And we all feel super bad about people dying. So frankly, nobody wants it to continue. The deep state / Democrats, that's the hard, sad part of it, they are stuck in a rut. And they can't get out. The rut's going to lead them literally to where, it leads. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for them. In my mind, it led into a barricade, but, I don't know why. I mean, where else would a rut happen? Ruts happen from, over time, right? Anyway, Zelensky refuses Trump push for peace deal. Ukrainian leader has again claimed that a ceasefire is needed. He wants a ceasefire. Russia's like, we don't want to give you a ceasefire because we know you're literally going to rearm yourself and then just friggin' attack us again. No, thank you. We either, A, finish this war now and sign the deal, or we will crush you. You guys remember Rocky 3, the Russian one? I will break you. Right? Like when Ivan Drago, another dude who's not actually Russian, playing a Russian guy. I guess we couldn't, because of the Iron Curtain or whatever, we couldn't hire actual Russian people. Sean Connery and Ivan Drago, it's like, oh, Lord have mercy. Whatever the case was, he was a very good Ivan. And his, who's that chick from Beverly Hills Cop 2? Yeah, that one, the tall Bridget. Wasn't her name Bridget? Oh, that's funny. Anyway, off of my own little side salad, don't mind me. So we'll see. Zelensky's not going to be happy about this. Europe's not happy about this. Let's just they're going to all say the bullshit they're going to say. Ursula von der Leyen. She said, this afternoon I will welcome at Zelensky UA. I don't even know what that, in Brussels. I'm assuming that's at the official Zelensky person, like the lowercase. I don't even know. That's weird because anyway, I don't know. I don't freaking know. I didn't look it up. I don't care. Together we will participate in the coalition of willing VTC. It's some sort of venereal disease, probably. At the request of President Zelensky, I will join the meeting with President Trump and other European leaders in the White House tomorrow. What is VTC? I'm doubtful it's actually a venereal disease, but knowing these people, Not a bad guess. I'm just saying. Trump wants summit with Putin and Zelensky next Friday. So he's like, Monday I'm meeting with Europe. I'm going to tell them what the frick is up. And Friday, I want you all to get together. And one of two things is going to happen there, Zelensky. You're either going to sign the paperwork or he's going to shoot you in the head and your entire security group that's there with you. You ever seen those movies? We got movies, man. We'll send in Reacher, dude. Or, I don't know, who's another good one? I mean, if we have to, we'll send Tom Cruise. If we have to. Just saying. That shit will erase itself. Don't even worry. This video that you're watching, yeah, it's probably going to erase itself. Putin, this is Axios' point of view. I wanted to get their perspective because if we don't know what Axios thinks, we don't know what the deep state's thinking. Putin made maximalist claims to Ukrainian territory in Trump summit. Sources say, yeah, the peace terms that Russia President Vladimir Putin laid out in his summit with President Trump include that Ukraine withdrew entirely from two of its eastern regions, two sources briefed on the call told Axios. I think that's true, believe it or not, and to a degree. I do think it's the Crimea area, which is that southern area in the sea. I want to say it's Black Sea, but whatever. The sea down there, right? And then we got the eastern areas. So I believe the Donbass has been one of the ones specifically called out. But it is those areas, possibly the Luhansk too. I feel like there's two of them up there maybe, but whatever the case is, there's definitely the Crimea and at least, whatever. I don't want to feel like just trying to say the words. Or I feel like that there was a Saturday Night Live episode where they were making fun of little George Bush Jr. and he was like how he didn't know anybody's name. Like they were asking him names and he didn't know their names. And then finally he's walking out and just throwing all these people's names out. It was Will Ferrell that was doing the version of him. It was funny as hell to me. France's debt time bomb is ticking beneath the summer calm. They're drowning. France having a hard time. Germany's having a hard time. The conservative side, or people are shifting very centric. That's what I call it. I don't know. They call it right, but it's centric at this point. They're moving back to the center where they belong. They got dipped off because of all the crazies. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun little experience. Europe's figuring it out. We've figured it out. We're moving through the process. UK, just, I don't know. I don't like spending a lot of time on it. No offense. I just feel like, they're like the ones that have been like the rulers of the world. I think the king and the queen have been in charge, right? So it's like, well, if anybody can figure out how to fix themselves, it's you guys, right? But I'd like to see you all, I don't know what's going on, but you guys have a mess going on in your country, for sure. A mess. We can talk about it. I can talk about it. Though I will just say I got deplatformed from another financial platform, which really bums me out because it was one that actually handled two of my advertisers. So that was kind of a bummer. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll talk to them. They gave me a little bit of time. That was kind of nice of them. But yeah, they said I'm cyberbullying or something. I forget the terminology, but it's just like, are you shitting me? All right, whatever. It's what we go through, man. It's what we go through, guys. So UK, this guy can talk about cutting the throats of people over this anti-migration people. Like, we should cut their throats is what this politician says, this leftist guy says. But we've got backlash of people who are saying the opposite. Elderly woman, someone just walked into her home and she called the cops so he wouldn't leave or whatever. And yeah, they basically said, yeah, he didn't seem like he was trying to do anything bad, even though he had like 6-7 dudes with him. So what's going on in England, guys? Look, here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't live there. Y'all got to get your shit figured out, man. I got some good friends that live out there, or at least are from there. Y'all got to get your shit figured out. You guys got to get your shit figured out. Get pissed, finally. Look pissed, at least. Let me see some anger on your face. It'll give you wrinkles, but you'll get over it. What was this? This is President Maduro. Apparently he's taken a run at trying to get away. Some are saying he's taking a trip to escape. Some are saying he's taking a trip to paradise. Look, here's the thing. I question anytime anybody does flight tracker stuff, and it has to do with heads of state. It has to do with. Here's the thing that I don't think people appreciate or understand, and MonkeyWorks will admit this. I love Monkeys or MonkeyWorks. I don't know if I can I just call it Mr. Works. I don't know. I love him. I love Monkey. He's awesome. 100% love him. I watch him frequently. In fact, but he admits this too, that you can turn these stupid things off. If you're legitimately on a mission, you don't have this, I forget what the signal's called, what initials they use, RFF or TRS or yada, yada, yada. I don't know what it is, okay? There's something signal that they can turn off, right? That's that. That's what reports to this site. So any country can turn that off. It's not like they buy a plane. They're like, I don't know how this works. They do. They turn that shit off if they want to. If it's showing up, it's because they want you to see it. And they do that for a number of reasons. So I just want people to be understanding that heads of state, Maduro, for example, is not stupid when it comes to, is our transponder on? Yeah, it's on. We'll turn it off. I don't need people tracking us. Elon Musk had this problem, and he's a private person, and he got a way around it. Granted, he's a billionaire and one of the richest people on the planet, but you see my point, I hope. Just because something shows up there, I mean, if it doesn't show up there, that doesn't necessarily mean anything either. A whole bunch of secret crap doesn't show up on Flight Tracker. Whole bunch of stuff. So just know that, please. This is cool. Jobby Aviation makes aviation history with the first piloted eVTOL flying in FAA-controlled airspace. It was a really short little hop. It took way too long, in my opinion, but with landing and fanfare and BS, it is a 6 prop. I don't know if they call it like a hexaprop or some weird-ass name, but I mean, it's just 6 props, which is a lot, in my opinion. I think some of them transition forward, and then fixed wing kind of comes into play, but this was a 10-minute run, or 10 miles at best, so it didn't go very far or very fast, but it was short. So again, just taking off and going, and then landing. Like, just the landing and taking off part took an extraordinary, extra amount of time compared to just flight time. So I'd like to see some of the better numbers that they might have put out on this. Cool stuff, though. I don't know. This shit's coming. Oh, there's, I guess, a video. I don't know if it's cool. We'll check it out.
Hey, good afternoon, Monterey Tower. Experimental 545 Juliet X-ray. We're out of Marina Flight of 2 inbound for Monterey. November 5 Juliet X-ray, roger that. You have one more inbound. Looks like about 15 miles in there, about 319. I can get you in behind them. For now, just remain north of the Laguna. Take your racing. Number 5 Juliet X-ray, runway 28 left, clear for the option. Hey, Monterey Ground, experimental 545 Juliet X-ray. We're off at Foxtrot and would like to taxi to Del Monte.
Wow, that's pretty damn cool. I got to be honest. Now, I don't think it can land like a regular airplane, it seems, because its gear looks flimsy as hell. Whatever, maybe that's just my not smart enough view. But it is weird that it didn't just land normally. It would have been easier at that point than wasting time and fuel to go into vertical. But whatever, it wouldn't have been a cool test had they not. So, that's cool stuff. I like that shit. I like that shit a lot. And it doesn't matter if the Earth is flat in that case, right? It's just VTOL. You're just flying an airplane. Love it. Beautiful thing. A lot happening, guys. I hope you guys are ready for it all. This week, I don't know. I feel like we're digesting what's going on. I feel like there's going to be a lot of discussion around the Trump stuff and what's going on around the peace plan. I think there's a lot of things happening in the background. I think the Patel is running with a lot of, Pondy really is running with a lot of these arrests and grand juries, at least, to bust some of these people. So just kind of be patient. enjoy the snippets and the beautiful parts that are happening at the moment. It's not meant to distract us necessarily at times as much as to have a moment of focus on the show, right? Like you could be watching a show and there's things that they've referenced that are happening kind of in the background, at least in your mind they are. But your scene right now is you're in someone's apartment and they're looking at some weird shoes they just found in someone's closet that have blood on them, right? Like that's right. So there's other things happening in the background, but there's what's happening right now in front of us. So enjoy that part of this. Call that the show. That's basically what it is. I don't think it's as simplistic as we like to make it, but that oftentimes makes it easier for people to digest. So again, like I said, I'm in this new place right now. I appreciate that. I don't understand where the hell some people are, but I'm doing my best to help as many as I can. I hope you guys can ripple out for those of you that kind of get what I'm saying, and then be like, help other people that would hate me understand what I'm talking about. And then I think we're moving in the right direction. At least I'm not, we'll see what they have the choice to believe what they want. We'll see what happens. I love everybody though. I think Trump's doing a good thing with Putin, and I love the fact that they're talking to each other. And I feel like we're moving in the right direction. I feel like she's got to come along at some point, but we'll see. Exciting times. We're doing it together. I'll tell you that much. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.